स्वहा तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्.
Today we launch ourselves into yet another session of Java. What we are going to discuss today is static. We are going to spend a lot of time talking about the keyword static and the various ways this keyword is used in the Java language. I remember we had briefly talked about this word yesterday when we were doing an example with basically interfaces. But we are going to go deeper today and talk about this keyword static and understand what all it means. We are going to talk about static variables, static methods, and static initializers. All of this we'll talk about. Another thing you might want to notice is that we are back to the cloud. Cloud had our original instance on the Amazon cloud had some problems. So some of you who are smart will notice that we have changed the instance name of our Amazon instance, and we are working in a directory called user oop class. So those of you who had difficulty seeing the earlier work, I think from now on the work which we are going to do is going to be on this directory /user/oop class. So please don't change this directory. It will things will be there here. Okay. So let's start with the basic understanding of the keyword static. Now, static variables are also called class level variables. So let's say I create a class employee. I put together a class employee. Okay. So class employee, let's say, has certain operations and certain state. We can define the state as name, age, all these kind of things, salary. And we can also define some operations on employee which are called hire salary, hire an employee, fire employee, give promotion. All these are different kinds of operations which you could do on an employee. So we will capture that class and then we will introduce what is called as a static data member. So let's create a class employee programmatically and then we will add something which will tell us a little bit insight into the static class or static data members. So we are creating an employee class. Actually the file should be employee.java. Let's quit and let's create vi employee.java. Yeah. So let's create this file. So we're creating this file employee.java. As usual, we create the class employee. Now it has a few data members. No, let's put in the data members first. The data members are, let's say, int enumber, that is the number of the employee, string ename, which is of type string ename, wonderful. Then we have the age of the employee, which is an int again, int age of the employee. And then we have float, we have the salary of the employee. Okay. Then let's have a constructor which takes these 4 parameters and initializes the state. So let's add in a constructor before we do anything else. Which takes 4 parameters. First one is the employee number, second one is the n name, let's call it n. That is the formal parameter, and then we have int a, and then we have float s. So we are creating a 4 parameter constructor over here which will initialize the state of the employee class, or more so the employee object. So how do we do that? We will just do a very simple initialization of the state there. We have employee number is equal to e, then we have n, ename is equal to n, and then we have similarly age is equal to a, and salary is equal to s. Yeah, there we are. So we have initialized an employee class with this constructor. This is a 4 parameter constructor. You know, when we provide a constructor to a class, Java takes away its default constructor anyway. So we have this constructor which is used to create an employee class. Now before we go on further, let's add a couple of methods to this class. One is called give a promotion. So let's say void grant promotion, and let's make grant promotion basically have increment in salary accompanying it. So we'll say a float and a parameter called increment, INC. Let's call it increment. So grant promotion, the way it is implemented is it enhances the salary by the parameter which is passed over here. The parameter which is passed over here basically is used to enhance the salary. So we say what? Salary. That means the salary of the employee which goes up the moment you give him an increment. Salary is equal to salary plus increment, or you can also write salary plus equal increment using the compound operator. So I'm going to keep this class very simple, very restricted to this, just this, a very, very trivial employee class which we have in our program. So we have a class employee, and which basically has these 4 states and an employee constructor and a method called grant promotion. That's it. Now my problem is going to be that in my program I'm going to keep track of how many employees are there going to be, and I want to use one of the data members to keep track of the number of employees. So I'm going to be very simple in the first, and I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to have a variable called count. Okay, but before I go to that, let me express my intention more clearly. Okay, just like in any organization, in our program also, which is a very small representation of what happens in an organization, what we are going to do, we are going to create many objects of employee class. That is, we are going to create E1, E2, E3, all these are objects of employee class. But at any given time, if the question is asked, how many employee objects do you have? Then other than counting those employee objects and which we have created, there doesn't seem to be a more scientific way of counting how many employee objects have been created. Now, just to recollect, where do these employee objects go and get created? They get created all on the heap. Remember, E1, E2, E3 are references on a stack. So E1 will be a reference, E2 will be a reference, E3 will be a reference. They point to objects on the heap. So I'm showing you the stack and I'm showing you the heap. So this E1, E2, E3 are objects on the heap. Now I want to know at any given stage how many employee objects have taken birth so far in the program. Now there are 2 ways I could do this. In my program which is using this stack, I could keep a variable count, and every time I create new employee, the burden is on me to increment this count variable. That means whenever I create employee object by saying new on employee object, I have to increment count. If I forget to increment count, basically the count will be incorrect, it will be wrong. Now this is not a very encapsulated way of doing things, and I'm sure you will agree. It is like the program which is creating employee objects should keep track of how many employee objects have been created. This is not a right thing. What should happen from a good programming practice perspective? The employee object itself should keep track how many of its instances have been created so far. So is there a way to do that? Now if I introduce, as you know, each employee on the heap, let us expand this a little more. Each employee on the heap internally has memory for employee number, for employee name, which has a string object reference, age, and salary. Each one has his own employee. For example, the employee number here is 1, e-name is 13, e-name can't be 13, e-name is Neil, age is 50, salary is 5,000, okay, so whatever. So basically we have an employee object existing. Similarly for E2 also we'll have these state members existing. What we need is, if we need to keep track of count, and if we have count over here, and we try to increment count every time an employee object is created in the constructor, but the count is maintained here, then count will be an instance variable. A copy will be maintained for each instance. So let me just try and do that. I'm sure some of you are confused as to what I am attempting. What I am saying is very simple. I am saying count is something which is used to track. Let's call it eCount if you want. I want a variable called eCount, or let's call it count for simplicity, which keeps track of the number of employee objects which have been created so far by the program. What is the simple approach? Create an employee, increment a variable. That is, the count variable is maintained outside of the employee class. But that is a very stupid way, as we just discussed, because the basic concept of encapsulation says that, anything that you do in a class, the class should remember about that. So we introduced a variable called count, which we are going to increment every time an employee object is created. And since count is going to be, we can mark that variable which we are going to introduce as public, or since anyway it's belonging to a default package, we'll be able to access count. Let's keep it that way. Then we will print count to see whether it is getting incremented properly. Okay? So we are going to start this very simply by encapsulating count as part of the state. So we are going to add a variable count over here, which we are going to use to remember how many employee objects we have created till date or till now, and let's see what problems we get into with that. So it is count. And when does count get incremented? Every time an employee object gets created, that count gets incremented. So let's go here and say count. Let's first initialize count to 0. And let's keep initializing count every time an employee object is created. So I say count plus plus. Yeah. So I have taken a very simplistic approach right now, which is every employee object should remember or should increment a count variable whenever it is created. And this should not be done by the calling program. The employee constructor itself, when it is taking birth, should say, oh, now count has gone up. Okay? Because there is no other way an employee takes birth other than through this constructor. As you know, this is the only constructor which we have in this class. So this is the only way the employee takes birth. At the birth time itself, it is like keeping track in the registry for births and deaths. We are keeping track of count. So that's how this whole thing is working. But now we are going to go to a program and see what might be going wrong in this program. Keep this at the back of. So our status is that count is now an instance variable which is going to be incremented every time employee number is created. So let's understand what's happening here. So please remember, count has been added as an instance variable to employee class, and it has been initialized to 0. And whenever the constructor is getting called, count is getting incremented. So let's go to the main program and play with this a little bit. So we are going to write a test program, test employee .java. Okay, so we have it here. So class test employee. Okay, public static void main. Here we go. So what is the first step we are going to do in this program? We are going to say, we are going to create the first employee. Employee E1 is equal to new employee. We can do that in one line. New employee. Remember, the employee constructor takes 4 parameters. So we are going to pass 4 parameters to it, starting with his, I guess, name. Number, employee number. Then employee name. Then I think the age of the employee. And then the salary of the employee. Okay? Okay? That should be enough. Yeah. So employee E1 is equal to new employee 1 Neil 335 and 9088. So we have created an employee object. Then what do? We again create yet another employee object. Let's create 3 of those. new employee. Now we are putting in the another constructor, employee number 2. Okay, we need to give a name, Gopal. And we need to give an age, 25, and we need to give a salary, 5,000. Wonderful. So we have these 2 employees created so far. Now we are going to create a third employee. Three, comma. Yeah. So we're going to create a, okay, third employee is Seshu. His age is, let's say, 25 again, or 22, 24. His salary is 10,000. Okay. So we have some sample data to start with. Oh, it's 1,000. Okay. 10,000. Okay. So we have 3 employees. Now, I am sure a real life program may accept data from the screen and say, go on creating employees, and I would create any number of employees in this program. Now at this stage, let's say the time has come to judge how many employees are there actually. Now, whenever an employee is getting created, you remember I am incrementing a count variable. Now, I'm going to print out employees created so far. Very boldly I'm going to put this line, system.out.println, employees created so far, because that's now the count variable that I have maintained should come to some use. System.out.println will say employees created so far is equal to employees created so far is equal to percent plus we have even.count, because every time it is getting incremented. Okay, and because it's an instance variable, it can be accessed only by an object reference. So I'm going to put that in. So I've written a program. Now let's just summarize. In my employee class, I have a count variable which is initialized to 0. It is going to get incremented. What is the reason I'm going to put this count variable? I want to count the number of employees which are created so far. So every time an employee is getting created, I am incrementing this count variable. And now I want to print by saying even.count what is the value of the count variable. Okay, and because I have no other way to print count other than saying even.count, because that's how you access instance variables. You can't just say count. And remember, we don't want to maintain count in main, because we believe that every employee class must have the intelligence to remember how many of its kind there exist, are in existence. So let's now very quickly compile this class, save it and compile this class. Okay, so now we have 2 classes. Now we are going to compile we need to compile the first one first, or we just say javac star.java. Okay, now I get an error because what happens is employee E2, that's a warning. Okay, which is fine. I mean, which is perfectly fine, because he's cribbing that you have created even E2, E3, and you have never used these 3 variables. So basically you are reported 2 warnings and 2 problems. The problems are warnings, so I'm not going to worry. Now this time I got away without giving class path, because I compiled all of them together. Normally I would have to say, because I'm working on the cloud, I would have to use the -cp. But when I compile all of them at one shot, which is not always a good idea, because imagine you have 1,000 classes, you would have to compile all of them together. A smarter thing to do is compile only the new classes with the -cp option on the javac, like we did in earlier sessions. So this is required on the cloud, because as I said, on the cloud by default the class path is not set, whereas on your Windows machine, when you install javac on a Windows platform, the installation ensures that the class path variable also gets modified, and it doesn't happen so in case of Amazon, or rather I should say the instance running on the Amazon. Okay, so we are not worried about the problem since they are warnings, so we just clear our screen, and now we are going to run our program. So we say Java test employee, that's it, and we get a wrong answer. And I think most of you have figured out why we got a wrong answer. This is a wrong answer. The reason it's a wrong answer, and let's debate on it a little bit. Employees created so far is equal to 1. But actually, how many employees did we create in the program? We created 3. So the answer should have been 3. Now why the hell are we getting answer 1? The answer is very important and easy to understand, and I'm going to describe it over here first, and then we're going to look at its effect on the program. So what's happening is, when even takes birth by saying even is equal to new employee whatever, during the constructor the count gets initialized and it becomes 1. When E2 takes birth, this count which belongs to E2 gets incremented. From 0 it becomes 1. What's happening is, this count, instead of being a shared variable, is become an instance variable. That means every E1, E2, E3 has its own copy of count, and that copy is getting incremented every time E1 is getting created, E2 is getting created, E3 is getting created. Meaning, there is no value here if I individually increment my count, which is a instance variable of this object. E1 has its own count, E2 has its own count, and E3 has its own count, which is getting incremented every time, and it is becoming plus plus, so it's becoming 1. If I were to check here E1.count or E2.count or E3.count, I would get exactly the same answer. All of them will be 1, because their own individual copies have been incremented when they were instantiated. In order to just get that so far, let's just print for our sake of confirmation. Let's print here. Besides E1.count, let's just print E2.count, just to get you into the same page as what I am talking about. So let's print here plus, let's give some space, or okay, we'll say here E2.count. We are printing it 3 times just to put it again. Go character by character. This is E2.count and this is E3.count. You can see what we are doing now. We are printing everybody's count, because this is an instance variable. We are printing everybody's count as of now. Okay. So having printed each count now, let's see what is the answer we get. We are going to compile this piece of code and see the answer that we get. So we'll do a javax start.java again, and then we are going to do java test employee. Yeah, you see all the 3 objects, we are saying this is coming as E1.count, this is coming as E2.count, this is coming as E3.count. All of them are coming as 1, whereas all of them should have come as 3. But what has happened? This count being an instance variable of each class, it got incremented, but what we need actually is a count which is specially allocated on the stack, which is owned by the class. We need a count which is owned by the employee class, but is shared amongst all the instances of that class. Now this is a very important point I am making. We need a count which belongs to this class. Which class? Employee class, as a shared variable. It should be shareable, but only amongst whom? Only amongst instances of employee. That means, rather than each one of them having their own count, we don't want that. We want count as a variable which is shared amongst all instances of a employee class. If you organize for that to happen, and each constructor says count plus plus, then what is going to happen? The count will not belong to a single guy, it's shared. So this count, since E1 is the first guy which gets incremented, gets created, it will increment this count to 1. When E2 gets created, that count will become 2. 3 gets created, count will become 3. Now, you see the difference? Count has moved away from being an instance variable of a particular object. That is, its ownership has shifted from a particular object to a common property of all the instances of a class. It has now become a common property of all the instances belonging to a class. Because of that, now this count is shared amongst all the instances of a class, and because of that, any increment you do to that is visible to E1, any increment done by E1 is visible to E2, is visible to E3. Such variables are called static variables, or some people call it class variables, because they belong to the class. This count does not belong to this, does not belong to this, or does not belong to this. This belongs to the class as a whole. So because of that, we talk about count as static variables. Other way of saying static variables is class level variables, and with that we get some additional benefits. So let's keep this program as it is. Yeah, no, I don't think we need that E1, E2, E3. Objects created so far, okay, fine. We will, yeah, okay, we will keep it that way. So we have just changed the line for E1, E2. We are just saying, because this count is coming from E1, E2, E3. Now each case it is coming as 1 just now. Now we are going to make count. We are going to go to our class and make count into a different kind of an animal. So we are going back to employee class. We are making a change over there. Okay. So Vim basically takes care of copies also in case there is a hang. Okay. So you can use VI or Vim. So we have now class employee, and now we say we change the flavor of this. These are all instance variables. These are unique to a particular instance of employee class. That means each E1, E2, E3 must have their own E number, E name, age and salary. However, count should not be of that kind. Count should be shared by all the instances of that class. That's why we are adding an interesting attribute, interesting qualifier to count, which is called static. Static means count now belongs to a class. It doesn't belong to an instance. Another additional thing is static variables by themselves are always initialized to 0 or null depending on the situation. So here they will be initialized to null. So though it is not wrong to say that, there is no need to say that. So you can take away that 0 initialization, because the Java compiler will automatically guarantee that count will start with a 0. Now what will happen? Every time the constructor is called, this count will get incremented, and because of that what will happen? One count is there which is shared between all the instances of a class, and that count is getting incremented every time. So this guy gets created, count becomes 1. This guy gets created, count will become 2. This guy gets created, count will become 3. And that count is accessible to E1, E2 and E3. That's the interesting part, but all of them will contain the latest value of count. And now it should be interesting to see what has happened. Okay. So let's just look at the program once again before we run it, which is vi test or vim test employee.java. Let's just look at it. Okay, what's going to happen? Now we're going to create employee E1, E2, E3, and then we are going to say E1.count, E2.count, E3.count. What will be the answer? The answer will be 3 for all of the cases, because when we refer to E1.count at this stage, 3 employees have been created. So the count has been incremented 3 times. So E1.count accesses not the count here, but the count here, which is shared. When you say E1.count, you should get count as 3. When you say E2.count, still you should get it as 3. If you get E3.count, you should still get it as 3, because it's a common count which has been incremented by E1, E2 and E3. On the contrary, if you had put E1.count here, this system.out.println, if you put it here, you'll get 1. If you put it here, you'll get 2. And if you put it after this, you'll get 3. Because as the objects are getting created, the common variable gets incremented. Anyway, I'm sure you're smart enough to understand it. Without me having to put this here and here, you'll understand that this happened, this happened, this happened. Count got incremented in every case, and what we are getting is the final count here, because we are printing it after the creation of the 3 employee objects, after the 3 instructors have been called. So three constructors have been called. Okay, so let's confirm that by compiling it, running it again. Yeah, again we get our standard warnings because we are, we get a warning, 3 problems, 3 warnings. Why is it warning? Oh, we are accessing the, okay. Okay, we'll talk about this error in a moment. Please keep this is an interesting error to talk about. See, normally we are accessing a static variable. Count is a static variable, but it is accessed. Now it's not giving the warning that E1, E2, E3 are not used because we are using them. But we are getting another kind of warning which is saying you are accessing a static variable through a instance reference. While that is valid, there is a better way of doing it which I'll show you in a moment. Because remember, count is a different kind of animal as compared to employee number, employee name, age, salary. It is shared by all of them. It is a class level variable or also called static variable. So count is a class level variable. It belongs to the class. And since it has that characteristic, normally we would request it to be printed using a class. But it is not wrong to print it using an instance reference also. This is not wrong, but we will make the error disappear after we do this. So right now focus on count being a shared variable. That's it. So let's see what answer we get when we run the test employee. Okay, as expected, the answer is coming 333 because we are printing it after the creation of 3 objects. So we are getting each time the answer as 333 because all of these 3 prints are after the creation of the 3 objects. Earlier, if you remember, we were getting this all as 111 because each individual count was getting incremented. Now the shared count variable is getting incremented. So that is the beauty of static variables. Now count is no longer the property of an instance, it is a property of a class. It's called a class level variable. Now keep the warnings in mind. Now we'll make the warnings disappear in a moment. Here we go. So let's go back to testemployee.java. Okay. Now it is on these 3 lines that it is giving a warning saying count is a static variable you are accessing through an instance reference which is E1, E2 or E3. While that's perfectly valid, that is not called good programming. Anybody who looks at it thinks count is what kind of an animal? Is it a instance animal or is it a class level animal? So in order to make this clear, it's convention to say a class. So now this can be done only for class level variables. If you say employee.employee number, it's not going to work. Employee.salary, it's not going to work because it's going to work for employee.count because count is a static variable which makes it a class level variable. Any static variable can be referenced using the class name, and you will see that on this line there will be no error, warning. Similarly, we'll replicate the same thing over here. Just to it's again we're printing the same, or just for the sake of thing, earlier we got 3 warnings. Now we'll get 2. Or if you want to change it, just say employee.count. I mean, we can print it only once. Okay, but let's put it nevertheless. Actually, we must, we'll add one more flavor here. What we'll do is, we'll take this line and put it after this. You have to yank this line. Okay. Don't bother right now. Let's run it nevertheless. Let's run it. Oh, good. So we had the line there. Now we have it after E1, we have it after E2, and we have it after E3. Let's get rid of the last 2. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, this is a good thing. So we have employee E1, we are getting created. We are saying employees created so far for E1, and we are printing employee.count there. Then we are creating E2, and then we are printing the employee created so far. I think let's make this E2, because so far employees are created is just now is E2. Let's change this to E2, and on similar way change it to E3. So after every creation we are interspersing it with print lines. So we create the first employee, we see the count, we print the second employee, print the shade, and all of them we are printing using the class name. So we shouldn't get any warnings saying you are not using count properly. Let's repeat the compilation. So we compile all over again. Oh, we still get a warning. Why is that? Oh, now he's saying local variable even is never used. Oh, that's a different kind of a warning. We are not using those variables even E2, E3. But now the static variables have gone away. The static warnings have gone away. These are because even we just created, E2 we created, E3 we created, we never used it. The other warnings have disappeared. That is very important to remember. The static, the warnings which are coming because of illegal usage, or not illegal, strange usage of count has disappeared. Anyway, let's run it and let's see the answer. Yeah, so you see, when we are creating even only, the count was 1. Remember, it's a shared variable. When E2 got created, that shared count got incremented to 2. When E3 was created, shared count got incremented to 3. So this proves that there is a static variable called count. And also we learned one more thing. Static variables can be referenced by saying employee dot count. You don't have to say even dot count. It is okay if we say this, but this line will give you a warning if you try to access count using even. This is not illegal. In some languages like C# and all, actually this is illegal. They say if count is a static variable, it should be accessed using a class reference. It should not be accessed using an employee reference. C# actually gives you an error on this line, this kind of a line. But Java, for all historical reasons and all that, if you use count through even, it gives you only a warning. But it says that the right way of using count, because it's a static variable, should be like this. So you reference count using a class reference. Instance variables, you go through this. So basically this count is created like this, which is shared among all the instances. So this is called static variables. So we just finished understanding static variables. So two things we realize: static variables are shared amongst all instances of a class, first thing. Second, static variables are automatically initialized to 0. Third thing, static variables can be referenced using class, and in fact the compiler prefers you to reference static variables using class name rather than instance reference. So that is some of the thoughts which you should have in your mind as we go forward.